You ever find yourself scrolling your phone deep into the night and you see a picture of a parrot and stop? And you think, how? How is that thing even real? Well, tonight we're diving headfirst into the secret science behind one of nature's most ridiculously, unbelievably colorful creations. I mean, seriously, look at them. It's like a paint factory exploded on a bird. How do they get those colors? That vibrant, almost glowing plumage seems to completely defy logic. Well, the answer involves some exclusive, patented pigments, a little bit of microscopic magic, and, get this, germ-proof armor. All right, let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we have to bust a huge myth right at the start. Most of us think animals get their color from what they eat, right? Well, for parrots, that's just not how it works. Think about a flamingo. Everyone knows they're pink because of the shrimp and algae they munch on. If you take away the shrimp, you get a pale, kind of sad-looking flamingo. Its color is all about its diet. A parrot, on the other hand, oh, it's a master chemist. It's a tiny feathered artist that literally creates its own pigments from scratch. It doesn't eat color, it is the color factory. And the science totally backs this up. This is the key right here. Parrots create their colors endogenously. That's just a fancy word for from within. They don't need to go searching for some special berry. The whole paint-making operation is happening right inside their bodies. But what exactly are they cooking up? Well, this brings us to the parrot's secret weapon, their own closely guarded family of pigments that sets them apart from pretty much every other animal on the planet. They're called ceticolfulvenes. It's a mouthful, I know. Let's try it. Ceticolfulvenes. But you can just think of it as parrot paint. These are the unique molecules that give parrots all those stunning, fiery reds and those electric yellows. And this is what's so wild. This isn't just a unique recipe. It's like an evolutionary patent. No other known animal in the entire world, not a single bird, reptile, or mammal, can make these. It is an exclusive club, and parrots are the only members. Okay, hold on. This is where the story gets really weird. If their special paint box only has reds and yellows, how are most parrots green? That doesn't make any sense. It's a massive hole in the logic, right? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about chemistry anymore. It's about physics. It's a straight-up magic trick happening at a microscopic level inside every single one of those green feathers. Yeah, you heard me right. There is no green pigment in a green parrot's feather. Not a single drop. The green that you see, the color your brain is so sure it's looking at, is a beautiful, brilliant illusion. So how does this incredible trick work? Okay, let's break it down. Deep inside the feather, there's this spongy, microscopic structure. When white light from the sun hits it, this structure is perfectly designed to bounce back only blue light. Think of it like a tiny blue sky trapped in the feather. But that's only step one. Then the parrot lays its yellow parrot paint over that blue scattering structure. So your eye sees the blue light, but it has to look through a yellow filter. And what happens in art class when you mix blue and yellow? You get green. It's the exact same principle. And here's the proof. This is the part that just blows my mind. Scientists have actually done this. They can take a green feather and chemically wash out the yellow pigment, and what's left behind is a blue feather. It was blue the whole time. The green was never really there. How cool is that? Okay, so green is an illusion. We've got that sorted. But what about the real pigments, the reds and the yellows? How does a parrot decide which one to use? Well, the answer to that is somehow even more clever. Let's meet the hero of this part of the story, an enzyme called ALDH3A2. Just think of this thing as a tiny molecular switch, or an artist that works inside the feather cells, making the final decision on what color you're gonna see. So check this out. Parrots start by making a base molecule that shows up as red. If a feather is supposed to be red, great, job done. But if it needs to be yellow, it calls in our hero enzyme ALDH3A2. This little guy performs a tiny bit of chemical surgery. It tweaks the red molecule, changing its shape just enough that it now reflects yellow light instead of red. So the difference between a red feather and a yellow feather isn't two different kinds of paint. It's just one kind of red paint and a tiny color stylist, that enzyme, that decides whether or not to turn it yellow. It is an unbelievably efficient and elegant system for creating so much variety. So we know how they do it. We've figured out the chemistry and the physics. But that just leads to the biggest question of all. Why? Why on earth did parrots evolve this incredibly complex, totally unique, and, let's be honest, super flashy color system. I mean, evolution doesn't usually do things just for the heck of it. For a system this sophisticated to exist, there have to be some serious survival advantages, and it turns out there are quite a few. First up, and this one sounds totally backwards, is camouflage. You're thinking, how is a scarlet macaw camouflaged? Well, picture it high up in a rainforest canopy with sunlight filtering through the leaves. Those bright, random patches of color don't look like a bird anymore. They break up the parrot's outline, so to a predator flying above, it's just a confusing jumble of light and shadow. They're hiding in plain sight. And then, of course, there's the obvious reason: communication. A parrot's feathers are its billboard. They scream everything from, hey, I'm a healthy, strong mate, to, this is my territory, back off. It's basically their version of a social media profile, broadcasting all their vital stats for other parrots to see. But this last reason, this is the one that nobody ever guesses, and it is a total game changer. It's not just about looks or about talking to each other. It's about defense. That's right. It turns out that those special cetacofulvin pigments actually make feathers physically tougher and more resistant to being eaten by bacteria. Now, if you're a bird living in a warm, humid jungle where everything is trying to rot, having self-disinfecting feathers is a huge advantage. Their color isn't just decoration, it's literal armor. All right, so we've cracked red, yellow, and the great green illusion. But there's one last piece to this colorful puzzle. What about the ghosts of the parrot world? What about the white ones? You have birds like cockatoos, right? They don't have these cetacofulvin pigments, but they are not drab. They are one of the most blindingly white birds on the planet. So how do they pull that off with a totally empty paint box? Well, believe it or not, it's that same physics trick again, just with a twist. Remember how the green feather had a perfectly ordered structure to scatter just blue light? To get white, the feather's internal structure is the complete opposite. It's a total mess. It's completely chaotic and disordered. So when sunlight hits it, instead of scattering just one color, it scatters all the colors of the rainbow in every possible direction. Your eye sees that explosion of every color at once, and your brain says, whoa, that's bright white. So when you really look at a parrot now, you're seeing a true master of its craft. I mean, it's a chemical engineer, creating exclusive pigments no one else has. It's a physicist, bending the very laws of light to create illusions. It's an artist, using that palette for communication, for camouflage, and even for armor. It's just spectacular. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible secrets, what other tiny miracles of engineering and art are just hiding out there in plain sight, waiting for one of us, late at night, to just stop and ask, how?